Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to episode number 94 of TownHall Heroes. I have no idea what's wrong with Kubi and Zonya's face, but okay, what a way to start the show. Hi, guys.
Hey.
You slayed my... Why are you making those faces?
I ate a warhead. Poor idea.
Ah, okay. Well, here we are, episode 94, TownHall Heroes. There's been a lot of news the last couple of weeks. Last week we had the reveals going down. They were showing off 2 new heroes. Now we know that Zeratul and Li-Ming are on the way. PTR hit with Li-Ming in it, and we have a live patch that went out today. But before we get to all of our topics today...
Fucking chat called him on it, man. He was doing it, and everyone jumped on board. This wasn't just like the few trolls. They did it, man.
Rory, you gotta fix your eyebrows, bro.
No, they're perfect, dude. They're perfect, man.
Oh, what?
Is that doing it for you?
Oh my goodness.
There we go. Oh my god, this is gonna be a good episode.
So before we continue on, everyone, what is new? Chthon, this is your second time on the show. Welcome back. What have you been up to?
Well, other than perfecting my eyebrow moves in a mirror. Not a whole lot, man. Pretty much the same old for me.
Alrighty. Bakery. Welcome back.
Thanks, man.
How's the team? A lot of changes.
The team's interesting. It's definitely a fun experience.
Wow, interesting is not the word you use when you don't want to give a description. Or it is the word you use when you don't want to give a description.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
No, so, yeah, as most people probably have heard, we lost Abathur and Gazlowe to Fnatic.
Yeah.
Which isn't the best of news, obviously, but honestly, it's actually pretty okay. Like, we've got a new roster, which is almost done, and you'll see it this Saturday, obviously, in the qualifier.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good right now. We're pretty strong.
All right, we'll touch more on that very soon. Zoya, how are your eyebrows, man?
Not near as good as Rory's. It's got a ways to go for that. Not much, man. Streamed the patch yesterday. That was a lot of fun. New hero is awesome. A lot of cool patch notes to talk about today, which I'm excited about. With the team, still, practice every day. It's really it's like one of those situations, like when you hear like teams like from other games and stuff talk about like how scrim results don't matter. That like there are teams that do insanely well in scrims that they can't perform in tournaments. And the last 2 tournament appearances we've made, rather disappointing losses in both the Into the Storm qualifiers, but in scrims we just have really solid results. It's we have like really close games versus Cognitive, Cloud9, Bob Ross. Overall, our win rate's positive, but it's just one of those situations where it's like, wow, that actually is true. That it can happen like that. So hopefully we figure out what we're doing wrong in tournaments, whether we need to have a different mindset for the day or something. But overall, really happy with the team. Scrims have been great. It's just we got to get that tournament results.
All right, Kubi.
Figured out how to cook an entire chicken in a crock pot over the weekend. That was good. And we also casted the European qualifiers. Jake somehow got me out of bed before noon on a weekend. But that was actually a lot of fun. We got to see a new meta sort of start to develop right after that patch. So, we'll get into that in a little bit. But that was a lot of fun. Otherwise, it's been pretty chill for me.
Kubi's a weird creature where he actually sleeps
Yeah.
almost only on the weekends. He doesn't sleep much on weeknights, but on weekends, he hibernates. And the moment we were done casting, Kubi went to bed. He went straight to bed.
It was hibernation time.
Yeah, you could tell how busy he is because, he works like a lot during the week. He sleeps a lot on the weekends. He never really has much free time to go out and buy new clothes because holy shit, what are you wearing?
That was a fantastic lead-up.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty good.
Didn't you wear that on a cast?
I thought I'd showcase.
He wore something similar. I think it had flowers on it last time. I remember raging about his wardrobe before on a different episode.
I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
There are
Kubi.
multiple
You know, maybe.
Kubi, there's one thing I wonder. Do you
What's that?
subscribe to the theory of banking up sleep? Where on the weekends, as long as you get
ooh.
10 or 12 hours, you're good to just sleep 5 or 6 for the entire weekday?
I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. I just do it anyway.
That's only my own personal theory, because that's how I have handled having a job and dealing with heroes this whole time as well.
It out, but I've been told by multiple people that it's not a thing, that you can't like bank up sleep. But works out. It does work out in the long run. So
We stand together, Kubi, so
yes.
it will be a thing.
God.
Every time, like when I watch Rory do it with the eyebrows, I just look over the chat, and they're always right. They're legit, man. I love it.
Oh gosh.
Oh, fantastic! We have a real-time chat implemented.
For those that did not, I don't know if Jake puts the pre-show up on the YouTube channel, but for those that don't know, chat's supposed to spam 1 whenever Rory does the sexy eyebrow look. It just happens like when he's speaking. Sometimes he'll just like.
You can thank Zoya for ruining the chat experience. All right. Well, obviously, it's been a pretty big week in terms of news. Just to cover a few baseline things that aren't in our topics, Blizzard said that a lot of the big updates when it comes to having bans and a lot of the features that Blizzard is promising, they're not weeks away, they're months away, which, in my opinion, supports the theory that there's going to be a 2.0 of the client that I've personally been saying. I think it is, but that's probably just wishful thinking at the end of the day. PTR has gone live. We're going to be talking about those patches. Li-Ming is included. Some massive changes. So a big chunk of the Today Show is going to be focused on the PTR discussion. Now, these patch notes, again, they're not final. It's a public test realm, not a live patch. But there is a good chance that most of the changes will go through. There was also a patch today that includes some of the PTR changes on immediate heroes, giving Greymane a bit of a buff and a few other ones. And we will be doing a big update as to what's going on with the Spring Championship for Europe, America, and Korea. And probably other regions too, but honestly, I'm a little bit out of date with some of the other regions are out there. And if we have time, we will be doing live call-in viewer questions through Discord. If you're watching live on Twitch right now, the Discord link exists below the channel, or you type !Discord to get into the Discord channel. But let us get on in to our first topic of the night, Li-Ming.
Dude, hands down the most fun hero I've played in this game. Like, she is a blast to play. Whether just completely ignoring viability and whatnot, she is really fun. I enjoy playing her quite a bit. Probably because she's probably broken, but she's still very fun.
She's definitely
like
broken.
Just her kit in general is like it's very. It feels like assassins from other MOBAs, like a genuine, like true, bursty, very mobile type, ADC, but it's in the caster. She's really cool.
Cawthon, how do you feel about Li-Ming?
Well, you know how the last, 5 or 6 heroes they've come out with have been completely underwhelming and just kind of a bore? I think they were saving up all of the power from those heroes, and they just decided to put it all into one hero that basically excels at every aspect, from ranged poke to mana efficiency to burst to insane team fighting. It's nuts. Like, the hero is amazing.
Is that a good thing, or is that she's gonna need nerfs?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, in light of the last bunch of heroes that have all been supremely underwhelming and have had little to no impact on the meta, I think it's a good thing.
Bakery?
Honestly, this hero, and to some extent the patch as well, is just Blizzard's sort of apology letter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, guys. We messed up with the previous heroes. Our patches hasn't been great, but have this amazing hero. Like, everything about her is just really top notch. Like, her abilities, they're exciting, they're strong, they're interesting. Like, especially her Q. Even her blink, her passive, like her full reset is crazy. Her ult's really interesting, and then her talent tree is
Oh, her
incredible.
talents, dude.
There's so many different
so
choices
unique.
that you can do. Stuff like glass cannon at level 13 is just crazy. Like dominance restore 25% of your max HP. Upon takedown, that stuff is going to be so hype. When someone takes that and they get in a clutch situation where they live like 4 times and get 4 kills, like, and just keep refreshing their health, like, everything about this hero is just amazing.
Coobs, you loving her?
Well, to be fair, I haven't played her yet because there's 20-minute queues on the PTR. I messed around with her a lot in try mode. Her numbers are super good. Depending on like any kind of build you want to run, whether you're doing like an orb build where you're going for the missiles or whatever, like she can really put single target damage out. As long as you can land the orbs at that distance, then she will put out big numbers. And there's nothing really else to say based on, just echoing what you guys have said already. She looks like a lot of fun, and I think she will have a huge impact if she comes out the way she is now. That said,
It's awesome, man. Like everything about her. I love both her heroics. Like they both have a place. The 20 upgrade for the Wave of Force is insane.
It's so ridiculous. The range on it is so ridiculous.
Like holy cow! And I want to highlight again what Baker said about the talents. Like if every hero gets this treatment with talents, that is awesome because her talent tree is amazing. Like there's so many like most heroes in the game, you can like look at talents and like every tier and just be like, well, you're never gonna take those 2 ever. And then there's like a debate between 2 of them, and there's one that's clearly better. But like every talent on every tier isn't trash. It's all at least decent, with maybe a few clear options that are really good. But her talent tree is just so well designed. There's no like, there's no trash in it. It's all good.
I actually can't think of an option that exists in your talent tree that I would be like, man, I can't imagine where I would ever take that. Actually, I've played her, and I feel like I'm building myself reactionarily based on the compositions almost every single game, and that's how it should be, right? It's super, super well done. What do you think are some of the more impactful styles we're going to see out of Li-Ming? Obviously, she can really benefit from, a magic missile build if you want to go for a little bit more of a single target blow-up style. You can spec into the orb for a lot of long-range AoE damage, very explosive. What are you guys expecting to see out of this hero as the standard?
Before we jump in, you actually think that every talent will get picked at some point or another in competitive play?
There's a few that probably won't as much.
I don't know about every, but
because this has happened before. Like we've had a hero come out and we're like, look, like, oh, these talents they're all amazing. Like they're all gonna get. There's so many different ways to build a hero, and then like a couple weeks go by and it's like, yeah, this is really how you play.
I don't think we've ever had a hero close to this one.
Until it's getting better.
Scrims, until you see like, how actual she should be played, because it's just quick match stops. Right. And no one's scrimming on the PTR yet because we have these weekends tournaments that are on the live patch.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fine. And like they're getting better, a lot better with the talent tiers, the trees in general for every hero that come out. They've been getting better with a lot of them. But like we have had heroes in the past, we're like, oh god, it's gonna be like good, all these different crazy builds, and then
clearly there will be like a one defined build, but like this is like one of the first heroes you look at and you go, sure, that might not be the best talent on this tier, but it's not a bad talent. Where other heroes just have bad talent.
Yes, for sure.
Like I don't know. I look at like Cannoneer. I don't know if that's going to be any good or not.
Well, there's a couple auto tech, but like her auto tech range.
Auto is really weak too. Compared to like even Kael'thas and Jaina, it's much weaker.
I guess just the whole point of this is like don't sell it like it's.
She's going to be good.
Crazy. Like, it's a good tree. I agree, but there's going to be some short fallings here and there. There's no way they get it perfectly right as it comes out from launch. So
they're not ever going to do that, but this is the best we've had.
I'm saying just don't overhype it. That's all.
For me though, it's not about every talent being competitively viable. It's that it has a place. So stuff like Cannoneer and stuff like Child's Blast, and like they both buff auto attacks basically.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. There is a build that you can do with those talents. Where if you look at some of the other heroes, like Greymane, one of his level 1s is like reveal enemy heroes with Q or something. There's no situation where you would take that talent in a build.
Yeah.
Like,
Like with
That's true.
auto type,
it just doesn't have a place.
there's a place.
So
for it,
like,
you're right.
every talent here, regardless of whether it's going to be competitive, like even Calamity, I think Calamity is probably never going to be picked in competitive. But if you want to do some crazy build where you like blink onto people constantly and start just try and nuke them, then you could try that.
Sounds amusing, but
Could
it
try
sounds
it.
dangerous.
Could try it. I think I
mean,
would be surprised if auto attack and or teleport builds became a thing, but
Well, no, not in competitive, but I mean,
No.
when you want to build like that in quick match, you can and you have fun.
You could do like a fun Tyrande, True Shot Aura build with auto attack Li-Ming. Like,
I think you'll be surprised by Calamity. I think teleport build is
I also
a
agree with
real
that.
thing.
Really?
Yep.
The AoE on it is so small that like you need to melee range them to get.
But you need
it.
to pick up the talents on 13 and 16.
Oh, for the
but
shielding and range.
They're both very, very good. There's very distinct styles of play with her, but I feel that style will be viable. She has a very like up in your face diver style that gives her a lot of tankiness and a lot of like disruption. And then she has the more obvious poke styles. It's hard to say which will be better. Some may be suited to certain maps and certain comps, but I could definitely see playing her almost like an assassin, where you go in very aggressively with her teleports and things into squishy back lines.
I would love that, and I hope that they are able to tweak the hero slowly to get into that direction. Whether all three of these styles of builds will be viable equally upon release, probably not. But
Probably
I think
not,
just to be cautiously optimistic about it, but I think that would be a pretty cool style to see.
In terms of heroics, you think we'll see good diversity in the 2 picks?
Not at release, I don't think. I think Disintegrate is clearly the best role to it.
Yeah, just for damage output, it's insane.
I think you will see Wave of Force, or sometimes it'll be like a situational comp pick, like
Yeah.
like to interrupt stuff.
Yeah,
But-
like, hey, we need something else to deal with this ETC, and we didn't consider that. Like,
Mosh Pit and Ravenous Spirit. If like Nazeeba somehow makes a comeback and I got Ravenous
Good
Spirit,
point.
I don't think it interrupts Strafe. I think it's just a knockback, right, like grenades. So I don't think it stuns. But
Which
for
means it
certain
wouldn't
heroes,
interrupt cups as well.
yeah. So for certain heroes, or in certain situations, it's be good. But yeah, I agree with Bakery. Disintegrate's probably gonna be the go-to. It's especially with resets. It's hilarious and like it's cool because like it's another one of those characters that like benefits when playing against Murky or Lost Vikings. Like I played against Lost Viking once, and it was just permanent resets. Like I was just spamming Disintegrate.
Sounds so fun.
So it's got that interaction that it has with like Gathering Power, where you still get the full stack and stuff.
Yeah. All right, well, the data mine date for her launch was February 9th, but there's some speculation that she'll be February 2nd, because I think that's when the Lunar Festival is. They announced the Lunar Festival starts on February 2nd, and that goes through March 1st. So people are speculating that she might be part of that patch. Who knows? It could just be a steady flow of content coming each week, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just to harp on what the Lunar Festival is very quickly.
Dude, I freaked out.
With the monkey?
Yo, that shit was crazy.
The monkey?
Get ready. Right click the monkey. It's like what? And it's like follow him. I was like, what the hell is happening?
Catch the Monkey Elder, bunch of new skins. And it basically means a ton of free gold throughout that month. So every time you play a game, you walk around a monkey, you get 100 gold if your team does it effectively, right?
Yeah. It's only once a day.
Once
though,
a
right?
day, right? It's like the
Yeah.
Treasure Goblin event. So the first time of the day, you can complete that daily quest and get a big bonus of gold for yourself. Pretty cool. Li-Ming we'll talk about more when she actually goes live, but it seems like everybody agrees that she is very fun and
Yes.
very good.
Yeah, probably the most OP hero in the game. But can we talk about the second most OP hero yet?
Yeah.
FS?
Dude, what the hell were they thinking with Rehgar?
Rehgar.
What the hell? They gave Feral Lunge to his base kit? That alone is just ridiculous. He gets so good from that, but now his healing? What? He is so good now.
All right. Well, we'll We'll actually get to the Rehgar discussion
Oh, apparently that was a juke, Jared.
soon.
Can't talk about him.
I want to go down the line.
'Cause
I want to
I
make
got I got stuff to say about Rehgar's W talents too, so
All right.
I'm excited.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna make you wait. I'm gonna be that guy.
Wow, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah, that was like Jared was on a roll. Get in on that, and then
Just gotta kill your flow, man. Just gotta kill your flow. A ton of new artwork has been added into the game for a big variety of heroes. This is just a nice quality of life thing, but the reason that I'm bringing this up here on the show is this is really good for competitive when it comes to looking at the little icon in the corner when you're watching a tournament as a spectator or a commentator. You often don't know if that's siphoning arrow. What is that talent, right? So now there's multiple color variants of a variety of talents, and a bunch of heroes got complete reworks. We can see a new Muradin has all of these new graphics here for all of his icons. I believe Marky got a bunch of them. Gazlowe, Arthas, a bunch of new talents there in the PTR, which is really quite cool.
The murky art is amazing, by the way, especially the pufferfish.
Oh, it's so good. Big change that's just going to affect the game in general. A lot of players have been saying it's not enough, but they've increased the damage dealt from structures, from towers, by 50% to enemy heroes. So heroes take an additional 50% damage from towers. Coffin, is this a good change? Is it enough? What do you think?
It's a step in the right direction. I think that there will be constantly, every patch is probably going to have a new change to try to dissuade teams from running as 5 right into the face of all the towers at the start of the game. This is not enough to dissuade it. It's very noticeable, but it's more like you're so used to towers being ignorable that all of a sudden it does some damage to you, and you're like, whoa, what's happening here? But it's not going to stop those 5-man YOLOs into the towers at level 1, though. And I really think that there needs to be some sort of protection against that. I don't know if it's making towers invuln until like 30 seconds of the game or what, but something needs to be done about that. That's not a very fun way to start out every game.
Tower invulnerability until the minions pass through it at the start of the game would be an interesting concept.
Something like that, or I mean, just something has to be done. Like, it's just a guessing game of where everybody's going to go at the start. And there's so many games that just start with teams like trading forts because the structures are so weak. And this is not really going to do anything to change that.
Yeah, it's a bit odd to watch too. It really is.
It is very dumb to watch. Like when you get a situation where two lane people are just like, well, I guess we're losing forts in these lanes because like
it just
we have to take their fort now.
Feels wrong. It just feels like
it really is bad. I don't know if invulnerability is the right answer because I think that takes away from something that like Sylvanas would like a part of one of your kit being able to disable towers. So if like suddenly like you just completely deny a strat with a Sylvanas on your team not being able to take structures at the beginning, so that like takes away from Sylvanas as a hero. I don't know if invulnerability is the right answer because it would like directly affect Sylvanas, but I think there definitely needs to be more done. Because nothing has really changed. It's just like Coffin says, now you can actually take serious damage, so you have to be...
Yeah. I'm glad it's a thing, though, because it's going to make diving a bigger risk, which is exciting. And it should be a risk to dive on the enemy team's towers, right? It should be a big threat.
Well, still not there yet. It's not a big threat.
I'm just saying, though, if you saw an Illidan diving in, right, you know, he's going to take more damage. In all scenarios, it's more risky.
Well, he's got that thing called evasion.
Saw an Illidan?
I think it needs to be. They need to find the tweaking point to where you can approach an enemy team that's 5-manning a set of towers with 3 heroes. Once that's like a slightly skewed in the 3-hero direction, then you've got that like thumbs up where you're like, okay, now it's a huge risk to dive in. So
maybe you don't have to directly change towers. Maybe slightly alter like minion experience versus tower experience in the early game. So if you are missing soak in other lanes, you know, if someone else is 3-lane soaking, they'll get a bigger advantage in taking an early tower. Maybe that would be the better way to go about it. Because I don't think I'm afraid if they tweak towers anymore, it just like leads to a really like if they buff HP or if they buff damage. You know, I think that's still a very scary line to walk to where it could be like really annoying to do. Like it'd just be like reverse worse.
Maybe if they did something like, I don't know how hard this would be to do on their engine, But maybe if there's no enemy minions within like 1,000 range or 1,500 range, maybe the towers do double damage or 50% more damage or something.
Probably doable, but you have to be careful drawing
Yeah,
the
because
line
that
of
like
like
ruins
what's
back
intuitive.
doors and stuff. Like,
It's not even
if
that.
you,
It's
like-
just if things like don't necessarily like make sense from just like what's
Yeah,
already
things
in the
have
game,
to-
and it's just
yeah.
like, oh, this like all of a sudden is doing more damage to me. Like for the competitive scene, everyone's gonna know why. But if you're playing the game on like an early level, it's like, whoa, that tower just did half my health. Why? And then like you come back later and it doesn't do the same. They're probably gonna be against making change. Oh,
Oh,
nice.
don't die.
So that's something to keep in mind. Like, there's probably a lot of ways to go about fixing this problem, but I think they will probably gravitate towards the most intuitive.
A lot of people like comparing them to like League of Legends towers that like literally just like
They
dumpster
destroy
you
you. Yes.
Yeah.
hard in the early game. But because there's like 2 towers on the outside and then a tower on the inside with the like, it's sorry, chat. That one legit snuck up on me. You know what I mean? Took off. But like, it's just scary lines or making it too strong if you buff the damage more. There's definitely an answer out there. I just don't know if.
Yeah.
But like you have to be, I think, like Kubi too. Like it has to be intuitive because like it would just be weird. Like that's not something that you learn. And there's like no tip section in the game, right? Like that pops up and's like you're taking additional damage from tower because of X, right? Like there's no way to like teach people that without them like YouTube or Googling something.
Is everyone in agreement, though, that they're probably going to need to do more steps than just this? Because I don't think this is going to change the style at all in the early game.
Probably, but I have to see more like competitive scrims. I haven't like seen a situation where 5 heroes dive in the beginning. It's never going to be coordinated for me, at least in a quick match. So I'll wait to pass judgment on it, but my guess is yes still.
Bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think more needs to be done. I think the root of the problem, to be honest, is just that heroes do too much damage in the early game, just in general, because this is something that's been really annoying me ever since the scaling change. Is before, when you wanted to wave play, you had to specifically pick into it. So if you wanted to rotate on like Dragon or Tomb, you needed to pick Sylvanas, you need to pick Leorix, Johanna, but now you can just pick something like Kael'thas. He does more damage to the wave than any of the wave clear heroes, just straight up. And then it's just really boring. Like, something that used to be really interesting in the bottom lane of Dragonshire is if you had clear advantage, you could put 2 heroes there, you could instantly clear wave, and then you could 2v3 in bot lane, because they could not fight under the minion wave, and you would retain control of the bot shrine if you just cleared wave instantly.
Yep.
But all the nuance and strategy around that has just disappeared, because minion waves are free to tank and very easy to kill. So I feel like it's a serious issue how much heroes do in the early game, how much damage they do. And I feel like that's the root of the problem with fire planning towers. So I'd like to see maybe some form of like decreasing health or something on structures, but like putting a resistance buff on them that fades across the first 5 minutes of the game, and minions as well. And that would give you back the early game while keeping everything the scaling changes initially wanted to accomplish.
It's a cool idea. Of resistance.
Now, obviously, you could communicate that by like a blue shield or something around the minions of the towers.
Well, have you guys seen the new graphic on the core? Like the new shield, the invulnerability.
Oh yeah.
So maybe they
No,
could somehow. I'll pull it up.
Invisible. I guess along that same line too, Bakery, you could just put a flat shield on all of the structures in the early game that just slowly ticks down until a certain point as well.
Oh yeah,
just
of course.
above the- That would be at least
Actually-
like, oh, I've seen shields before. I know what those are like, and you
I
can
actually
see
kind
them
of
ticking
like that
down.
idea.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. So basically, the core now has this invulnerability has to spawn first, but when you have not taken down a keep before it, it's kind of hard to know that you couldn't actually damage the core. Yes, some people would run past the keep and try to kill the core in some instances, but now the cores have this big bad shield around them that is populating. It's custom per map, different icons around each of it, but it has this force field that and it says invulnerable at the top. So maybe it would say resistant and have a similar effect on the towers, something of that sort. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, structures, of course, that's one of the changes they made. Just kind of across the board. They changed the Dragonite a little bit in terms of the amount of damage it receives from structures. What do you guys think about the new floating
Other way.
combat?
I think it's the other way around, Jake.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it takes less damage.
I thought that's what I said, but okay. The new text. They changed the floating combat text now.
That's fantastic. And people
Great
love it
change, yeah.
because there's there's a whole thread top of the Reddit. Everybody loves it, and it looks great. When you're critting with your auto attacks, you don't have to be paying super close attention to the numbers that you're pushing out.
Yeah.
So I think everything about it is awesome. It's a lot more noticeable.
I think
things are more intuitive. It's great.
I mean, honestly, as someone who's played the game for a long time, the numbers blended in so much to the point where I didn't even notice them anymore. I didn't see the numbers when I played the game. They didn't exist to me. And this change I don't know. I love it. I'm with Reddit. It's awesome.
Oh, you know what change I like? They're changing all the talents to if they're
The colors.
the colors.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh,
we did?
I love that.
Yeah, Jared.
Yeah.
Jeez. There's still a couple of heroes they need to get, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
There was a new observer interface I was testing last night, and I was like, well, I can't mouse over the talents at the top, so if I want to see if it's northern exposure,
gotta know
I'd
it's
have to
teal or
hit
blue.
tab. But now I know the colors are
Yeah.
different, so it's a really cool change too.
And
I didn't hear Jake say it.
they did have. They also added number counters on the gems, both in game and the observer client. So if you're playing a Tomb of the Spider Queen and you're looking at the bottom right corner in the center, you can see. I'll actually just pull up an example, but you can actually just pay attention. You can see exactly the total count of gems that your team has. You don't have to try to add it up and fail miserably every time like I do.
Caster math.
Another interesting thing just about observer interface is there's now an observer interface and a replay interface. So I don't know why they have two slots. It's kind of cool, but they added additional functionality to replays where independent parties can develop their own software to pull data from the replays and do some cool things for ideally for well, not ideally, but in theory for esports.
Fax asked a good question. Did they fix the Towers of Doom with the Observer? They must have. Anyone knows?
I didn't check Towers of Doom.
I'm not sure.
I have a replay I could check. But
This monkey man. Are we gonna get that carpet? He has his mount that we don't have yet.
Invigorating.
that was great.
I feel like that was a way to convince people to not be AFK at the start of games. But everybody gets the reward anyway, so I don't know. About that.
Yeah, and you can do it with 2 or 3 people anyway, so yeah.
Good effort, though.
Good effort. They changed some naming stuff. They changed some graphics. Illidan got some model updates.
A lot of model updates, like Metamorphosis. They updated it for all of his skins, so it looks a lot better.
Okay, I'm far enough into the replay where we can see this. So so if you look in the game in the bottom right corner, you can see this 9 right here. That's the total number of gems that the blue team has, 16 now. So that's what they have in their pocket. This is what they've turned in. This is how it is for the observer interface as well. So this is just a nice little quality of life thing they've added for collection maps. So you don't have to hit tab and be like, all right, well, my team has 20-something gems. It's pretty cool. All right, let's get to the hero changes.
Yeah!
Oh, focus attack nerf.
Boo.
Kubi,
Good.
you're pretty sad.
Yeah, I was pretty sad about it because what heroes are really running right now? Raynor, Sonya. Raynor, fine, I understand it, but I think that hurts Sonya a lot. Plus, they have other nerfs. I like Sonya.
Screw generic talents at this point. I don't care about them. Nerf them all. Get new ones.
Damn.
That's how I feel about QB.
Okay.
Cawthon, how do you feel?
I'm a little sad because the only heroes that really run it, like you said, are Raynor and Sonya, and I love both those heroes. Plus, both those heroes also got nerfs in other areas recently. So
Yep.
It seemed like it was just a nerf that was targeted at those heroes, but they had already done other nerfs to them, so it was a little bizarre, but I understand. Both those heroes are very strong.
Yeah, but
Can't really-
Kilthos is 53% win rate. He's fine, right?
Yeah, and also, yeah. Also, Tyrande, the way to fix Tyrande is to like slightly adjust forward for different heal numbers instead of the huge obvious
Yeah.
mark issue. Proceed.
They'll figure it out. Baker, what do you think about the focus attack change?
I like it actually. I think it's good because the thing is there's never going to be an auto attacker with focus attack who doesn't take it. I feel like. I mean, the only reason you don't take on hammer is because the range increase is the same, like the same tier. On Tychus, it's melting point, and then
Tychus is played? What?
who else? Who else is it on? I guess it's only Tyrande that's on, and obviously that's Pierce. So I mean, I feel like every auto attacker that has that talent is going to take it, and I feel like it is a justified nerf to Sonya and Reyna. Although obviously they're nerfing Sonya as well, so that might be a bit overkill.
Yeah. So at the same time, if they're nerfing auto attackers in general, we look at the three mages, which are almost unarguably three of the best DPS in the game.
Yeah.
Should you really be nerfing talents that only affect auto attackers while the mages are the top tier of damage, like just in everybody's eyes?
But I feel like now that it's a nerf talent, you can probably add it to more heroes. You can add it to Valor, you can add it to Falstad, and you can see how that works.
They'd have to replace Manticore with it. Manticore has always been a terrible, terrible version of focused attacks.
Yeah, because you have to. It's
much.
consecutive hits, right?
We could talk
What's the
about this for
difference?
hours. We got the expert on auto attack Vala builds here.
Oh, you claiming me?
Yeah, I'm claiming you.
I enjoy
This guy
watching-
tried to argue for auto attack Vala the other day in the cast, and I was like, you know what, Jake?
I brought up
Okay.
a talking point. I didn't try to argue for it.
This guy.
Wait. Was it on Battlefield of Eternity?
I don't remember
It
when he
was.
brought it up.
It was
I
on
just,
Battlefield.
It was.
no, we only casted Sky Temple. Remember?
Oh, it wasn't Sky Temple.
I just remember it being hilarious. I was like, Jake, really? Manticore's so good.
Manticore, worst talent ever.
I think it's pretty decent.
I like
In
the
certain
style of it, but I don't know. I feel like the numbers just need to be unique in some way, like
Oh, I think that whole.
percent health damage maybe.
I think the whole idea around like the talents around Vala's trait, because her trait is actually pretty cool, and like the talents that affect her trait, like just looking at them, it's being able to like increase your lifesteal or your attack speed based off like the stacks in your trait. That is a cool thing as like an ADC, but people play her as a caster mainly, so
Yeah.
it's like in general, I like the Manticore talents and I like the idea behind it, but they're just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you just compare it to Zeratul's, I understand they use melee, but it's 100% bonus damage, whereas Manticore's 50%. So, and his hit quite a bit harder, auto attack wise. So, yeah.
I didn't do that.
What's
But
that?
what we're saying is Blizzard buff auto attack Vala. We need more auto attackers
Do
in this
it.
game. No more mages.
Jake would be so happy. I love watching.
Yeah, because
AA
we're gonna
run.
have Bloodlust in the meta soon, so we need more auto
Oh,
attackers.
you know how happy that makes me to hear me to hear you say that. Oh, I can't even.
On
talk
that
straight.
subject, by the way, of buffing auto attackers, I feel like a good way of doing that is to increase the range by 0.5 or 1.
1.5 or 0.5?
No, 0.5 or 1.
Okay.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah.
For any, like for who? Which
So
heroes?
I was thinking mainly Valor, to be honest. But I mean, I'm sure there's others.
Okay.
And the reason is that it's so hard to play an auto attack hero with heroes like Thrall in the game because you get an auto attack range, he just casts Sundering, which is incredibly hard to dodge from that range.
Yeah.
If not impossible, and then you die because he 3-shots you.
Actually, now that you said it, I like the idea of buffing maybe Vala's range just a little bit. She does kind of look pathetic, like with these badass crossbows, and they like shoot like airsoft gun distance, like pew pew, pew pew.
That was a very good reenactment.
Jared
Thanks, man.
I'm so
Um,
impressed.
Would you want to see it added to the base kit, or something that you would talent into at like very early, level 1 or something?
I think I'd like to see base kit, but I mean, even if it was a talent, that would still be an interesting option.
All right.
I
Well,
did not mean to make this a conversation. I'm sorry. Like, legit, I just wanted to poke fun at Jake.
anyways, Cho'Gall. Or let's start with Gall. Ton of talent changes. They move Shove to level 1. I have Kilrog is like a crazy cast range with 4 charges now. They up some damage. They
Yeah,
overall,
cool
he's just
stuff.
better.
Not going to be played any more than he already is.
You're so wrong.
Nope.
First of all, Korea won a game with Cho'Gall recently. I've been
Before
saying
this.
for a while.
Before this patch.
That's no evidence.
And before a while, I've always said Cho'Gall is on the verge of being competitively viable. Not picked every game.
Yo, pretty sure
but
they
by
lost
seeing
that game,
play.
bro.
Did they lose the game? Either way, he was played. You said you
That's
wouldn't
a what?
see him
That's a
competitively. We
big
saw him
difference
before
for
he
your
got his stuff.
argument, dude.
No,
Like,
you said
oh,
he
dude,
wouldn't
he
see
won a
play.
game. No, he got wrecked. He
You
got
said
wrecked.
you wouldn't see play with these buffs. He saw plays before the buffs, so
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
still see play.
Sorry, young
I
bosses.
think it's
They are the
enough to make
pinnacle
him
of
competitively
Cho'Gall
viable.
play and whether he's going to get picked. Get out
Well, I
of here
mean,
with
I
that
just
trash.
your statement was he won't see play, and he already has. Now he's getting buffed. I think he will see, like in very situational picks on certain maps, he is a viable option.
Yeah, and Jake and I saw an auto attack Valo over the weekend in Europe. Does that mean that's viable? Jared?
No, it's Europe.
Hello?
We're not talking about Europe. We're talking
Jared?
about Korea and North
Jared?
America.
Hello?
I know multiple teams in
I
North
mean-
America run Cho'Gall and scrims and have okay success with it. And this was before the
This
buff.
is pre-buff. This buff is big too.
And this is a big buff to Gall.
Big buff. Gall hurts now, boys.
Yeah.
Twisting Nether is actually like pretty hype.
He won't ever be a mainstay hero with these changes, but he will see play. Rory, being a team that runs dumb heroes consistently.
Whoa. That is way more your team at this point in time.
That
than
is
my
true.
team.
That is true. More my team now.
I have
But
seen
Fo-
the stuff your
Forlock
team
just
runs.
consistently runs dumb stuff too.
Unique meta shifting stuff. Is that what you
My
meant
bad.
to say?
My bad. Unique meta shit.
Unique New York.
What are you, have you guys run into Cho'Gall often? Not often. But at all.
We've run into it a little bit. Fairly unimpressed, but I agree that he's very close, and these buffs could push him over the edge.
Boom! Sit down, Corey, and take that shirt off because it's dumb.
Kobe, you're eating sand for dinner tonight.
I'm not
Eats.
eating anything. It's Jared with random speculation about games where Cho'Gall lost. And you're like, boom, got him. Nailed it, boys. No, get out of here. Sit down.
I don't know the speculation, man. He was on the verge before. And now these buffs might be enough. We might see him every once in a while.
Okay, I mean, that'd be cool. I just don't see it happening.
This is the change that makes Illidan viable again, right?
Yep.
Give him like 2% more damage.
He does 8 more damage per auto attack at level 20. Sick assy.
Hey, this is better than that one buff they did a long time ago where they just reworded every ability in his kit.
Did you?
Yeah,
God,
it's-
do you remember that? That was awful.
That was hilarious. Everyone's like, Illidan changes, yeah! It's just like they reworded everything. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, they got to be very careful with Illidan. Very careful.
Didn't they do a buff
he's
to him once where it
per-
was just 1 damage?
Per level.
Yeah, that was per level. That was different.
So it's
because-
actually more impactful,
yeah,
probably.
because
Oh,
the way they do the scaling now is percent based. So like they're only probably ever going to be tweaking base numbers. But before it was like you get 1 per level. That actually might add up a decent
Yeah.
amount.
Oh, you guys know what the biggest buff to Illidan in this patch was?
Stitches.
Rehgar's W.
Oh, the
Yeah.
33% increased radius?
True.
Or just
Very-
in general?
A lot of things with Rehgar's W.
Yeah, a lot of things with Rehgar.
We're
in
going to
general.
get there. Bakery's going to go ham on the discussion with us, too. But, Bakery, what do you think about these Lunara changes? They just buffed her health in the last patch. They just buffed her poison damage in the last patch. And now they're buffing Wisp and auto attack responsiveness.
And they're
Okay,
doing actually
well-
better.
The wisp chains is obviously needed because that ability was so undertuned in every way. And at least now, with it being only 30 seconds, I think that probably provides you meaningful vision. Obviously, mana cost. I don't even know if it should have a mana cost, but decreasing is nice. And then the animation improvements, these are so good for her. These are so good for her. The melee animation actually destroyed her. Like, she's not even that bad in terms of her kit. She's a bit undertuned, but that melee animation made it impossible to play her. Like, you
What?
couldn't even kite with her.
16-month sub hype Tamsin. That deserves a shout out. Thank you so much, dude.
Oh, I thought you were shimmying for
Good.
her auto attack
Yeah, I
animation.
know. It's just like it makes so much noise. It's like
Have any of you guys actually played her? Like, is it?
Dude,
Lunara?
she feels
Yeah.
good.
does
She
feel
is
better.
I've yet to
Yeah.
play her.
She
Yeah.
Feels much better.
fun.
That's
There
good.
are still a lot of opportunities to like cancel out auto attack animations, but it's not really any more annoying than other heroes that have
Yeah.
longer range auto animations. So you can get used to it pretty quick.
Her melee swing before was the worst thing.
yeah.
I stopped playing that hero because I couldn't
I
take
did the exact same thing. I was like, this hero would be a lot of fun, but no. Jake,
You are
And yet-
such a
I'm
dork.
trying to run a show here.
See, as quick as Jake is like shimmying around, that's how quick her animation is. Whereas before,
Yeah.
it was just like a lethargic Zoya rolling out of bed.
Flawless analogy.
Dude, legit though, Jake, you need to fix that chair. It sounds like a bolt's about to pop out or something.
Yeah, I need a new chair. I'll get one when I move. Allison, 16 months, thanks. GG. Now, you guys are awesome. Anyways, yeah, so Lunara, she feels way better. Rory, you think she's going to get play at this point?
I think that the buffs to Lunara and Greymane will put them in contention for that last spot where you typically see stuff like Vala right now.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of competition for that last
That's
kind
cool.
of
That's good.
autoer spot. But at the same time, if Li-Ming is coming up in this and she's going to be
Excuse me?
she's going to be OP.
Excuse me.
gonna be
What
OP.
hero did you just refer to?
Li-Ming!
Oh, Rory. Is that iDream's face?
No,
never
it's
mind.
Ming Li.
That's the one.
You back-
So-
It's the Twitch just up.
Yeah, there's going to be less spots
Got it.
available with all these OP mages, but you know, they might sneak in there every once in a while. Mang.
Li-Ming. Thanks for that, man. And the show's over.
Oh my god, Rory's hilarious.
Good talk.
Holy crap.
Oh,
Good point. Good point. I agree.
I agree too. That last pick's always a fun one. You get to see like the styles from a team.
Yep.
Whether like if they play Sylvanas, you'll usually caffeine cracking me up. You'll usually see like a Bala sometimes. You'll see Sylvanas from some teams in that situation. You'll see potential bruisers if the team, that's more their styles there. So I agree that's where Lunara will probably fall in that spot, which is really cool. We saw Lunara in the EU Open. It was like not the best game to refer to, but she won. So
She did win.
She did win. All right. The next hero is a hero that has seen a ton of changes. Basically, slightly new hero, Nova. Nova has lost Conch Pursuit, Gathering Power, and Venom, Headshot, Spell Shield, Overdrive, and even Bolt of the Storm. You think about Nova in the past, level 4 was guaranteed to either get GP or Envenom. And she now has neither of those talents. She functions very differently. She has a boatload of new talents. Who has played her?
I have a fair
I
amount.
have.
She's pretty bad.
She is worse. Like some people are saying she's more fun. I always enjoyed the one shot style where you just like
blow 'em up.
annihilate someone. That one was always like fun to me. But she's definitely worse now. And I know Cawthon's team has been running Nova like forever. What does your team think about the change? Specifically Faye, I guess.
Well,
about the Nova
it's
change.
a different team now, but as
Yes.
one of the pioneers, so to speak, of Nova, who was constantly running, although the kind of team that Zoya really respects, that runs those offbeat heroes that some would call cheese. I would say that just looking at the initial patch notes, I'm struck by a double dip nerf on her snipe, which seems bizarre. Like, why do you nerf the same thing twice? So you nerf snipe's base damage by like 20%, but then you also remove ambush, which was just taken all the time, no matter what,
And
which
GP.
is also a 20% nerf.
GP
And,
on top of
like,
it.
why do you just nerf the same talent at the same rate 2 different times? It doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe they thought that ambush wasn't like always chosen or something. I don't know. It seems like too much. It's too much.
I think, personally, Nova's never been that prominent and competitive, and she's always been a massive menace for the average player. 90% of the player base has had, there's been Reddit threads like, does it feel like you're just playing against Nova, or is this entire game all about how good the Nova is? Threads like that. And I think this will make Nova a little bit stressful for the average player that has Nova PTSD, I guess, because she's going to be less of a one-shot, one-kill hero, as that's one of her quotes.
Is that more of a flaw from her damage or from the stealth, though?
Well, it's just her entire style was literally just about snipe and kill you, and then farming up GP stacks, and then you walk, you wait, you lurk in the shadows, and then one snipe and you're dead. And her new style is very different from that. Like, I don't know. Most people, I've go ahead.
Having recently leveled a Smurf, I can definitely attest, like, Nova in low-level quick matches is just out of control, to be honest. Like, people don't even understand stealth, people aren't looking for stealth, people just getting one shot, like, and then not noticing. Like,
I don't know, I think, like, going against a good Kerrigan in, like, low-level games is also toxic, too. Why don't they just delete her from the game as well? Like,
well, because Kerrigan required skill. And there is counterplay to Kerrigan.
They're
Whereas
like,
Nova, there's still really
bad
isn't.
Novas are bad. Like, let me tell you, anytime I get a bad Nova on my team, it is an insta loss. Like,
they're the ones that rage quit pretty quick too.
I don't know. I don't know.
The
Well,
most success,
Jake. Why don't you just put all Nova players in the same bucket?
No, the bad Nova players. They're the ones that rage quit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a type of player. All right.
I mean, if that's the reason behind it, I guess it makes sense. But I don't know.
So
it sucks. I don't like the changes.
I've seen follow through pinning shot style Nova have a decent amount of success. It seems to be the highest damage output, but she's so vulnerable.
Yeah, she has no blink.
She's so vulnerable. That's the problem.
Yeah, she's got no
Reactivate
CC.
stealth right after.
Like, all the good assassins that don't have an escape have a way to survive. Kel'Thas has Arcane Barrier as well as Gravity Lapse. Gets Bolt to 20. Like, Nova has no escape. She has no crowd control. I mean, yeah, her W slows.
No.
She's got clones.
It's not enough.
That's not safety.
It used to be safety when you could body block some stuff with it, like hooks.
Dude,
and
I missed that day.
those are fun
Those
days.
were those were
I'm
hilarious.
not actually really entirely sure why they took that out.
I don't know.
Okay, so of the like positive things in this rework, there aren't many, but one of them is her talents are now interesting.
Yes,
Yeah, that is true. That is
that is
true.
true.
But overall, like no matter how you really run the numbers, and it's fair to run just straight burst numbers on if any hero, it's going to be Nova, and it doesn't add up in any scenario. Even if you have the 50% bonus damage, it's never going to compare to the best case scenario before. So if there's other ways to play her, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what emerges, but I'm not too hopeful. But you're right. The talent tiers are better now. There's some other options.
She's way more compelling, but she, like you guys are saying,
Her numbers are just
probably nerfed.
bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Way more fun kit though. I like the variety that exists now. Up next, the other stealthy Zeratul. Got a bit of a cleave upgrade in terms of damage.
What a dumb thing to do. They buff Abathur and Zeratul at the same time? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
by
me?
the way?
I don't get this one.
So all right, cleave damage got increased, but Shadow Assault has about an additional 37% range. Its duration has been reduced to 4 seconds. The mana cost has been reduced by 50, and the cooldown has been cut more than in half. So you can Shadow Assault every 45 seconds.
Yep.
Auto attack Zeratul, is it a thing? Is it a reality?
About as much as a reality as auto attack Greymane is.
Okay.
Like I mean,
But his blink.
melee. Yeah, it helps a little bit, but he also
In Gold League, we were already seeing Shadow Assault get picked.
When
Now
they were
it's-
abusing bugs.
No.
I know. I'm just, do you remember that game?
Yeah, that was at an IEM, though, wasn't it?
Shenzhen, yeah.
good
like-
times.
But China was already running a little bit of Shadow Assault. Now we're gonna it's a viable option now. Like Void Prism's always gonna be good, but Shadow Assault is a legit viable option now, depending on your comp.
I'll
And
tell you,
comp.
I was playing Li-Ming and Lunara a lot the last few days, and I ran into a few Shadow Assault Zeratuls, and I think we experienced the same thing. If you're caught alone between lanes from a Shadow Assault Zeratul, you just die. You just die. There's no getting away from it. You're dead.
Yeah,
It's
it is
a-
kind of hard
it's
to get a feel for it right now, just because of the comps that you're going to see on
True.
the PTR. But yeah, I mean, in the right scenario, he can deal an insane amount of damage. It's just how often is that scenario going to pop up in competitive?
Love the Shadow Assault.
Stop.
Well, think about a large map where after level 10, somebody's got to be soaking those side lanes. If you have a auto attack Zeratul with a 45-second cooldown ult that basically insta kills any
Yeah.
non-tank that can't get behind a wall, that it forces a type of play that I'm not sure that I really like, where once you get level 10 against a Zeratul that does that build, you basically just have to group up as 5 and rush into walls to force fights.
Yeah.
Because you can't send a squishy off to soak a side lane, they're just going to die. So you could maybe send an ETC with stage dive off to soak, but like it basically forces your team to kind of just group up super, super early. And maybe if that becomes the norm, it's not a bad thing, but I don't know if I like this change.
It's not even just squishies. I was playing before we even went live. And once you hit 16 with Berserk, Giant Killer, like you can actually kill a Chen popping Shadow Assault when while they're chugging, you can just burst them down
Wow.
through their shield.
Just
Like
it
is
doesn't make
possible.
it doesn't make any sense when they're nerfing Nova's burst
Exactly.
capabilities. But then they're giving all of the stuff they took away from Nova into this even easier point and click, right click, blow somebody up hero.
Dude, he's the
Like
new
how does
Nova.
that
Easy.
how does that make the
Literally-
quick match experience
Yeah.
any better? It's basically Nova on steroids where you just right click on somebody and press your passive abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. If
like, it
people
doesn't
were
make
complaining
any
about
sense.
Nova, like if people were legit complaining about Nova, this Zeratul is going to be more toxic to deal with, like at a lower level. Because literally, they're like, it's not a skill shot, guys. You can miss snipes. If you're bad, you're going to miss the snipe. You're going to miss the precision strike.
Yeah.
You can't miss Shadow Assault. You right click them and you let it do its damage, and you like mix in Divine Shield with that. It's
It's going to
Abathur
be
Zeratul
really
was
bad.
already annoying to deal with, and I know my team is currently a fan of that style, but buffing both Abathur and Zeratul. I mean, we're about to talk about the Abathur changes after this one, but like the Zeratul changes alone, Void Prison will always have a place because it's Void Prison. That heroic will always be good and will always have a situation. Even when Zeratul fell off the map completely, there were some teams still picking Zeratul just for Void Prison. So that's still a very good option, but
Yeah, I totally
Shadow
agree
Assault-
that Void Prism is great. I mean, he just got straight up buffs that
True, yeah.
were
Just-
probably not needed because he was already a very common pick in high level games, like well over 50 or 60% pick rate in like top level leagues. I just don't understand why they make a hero so easy to do all the things in quick match they've said they don't want to happen. It just doesn't make any sense. While at the same time they're nerfing other burst heroes. I don't
Well-
know where they're trying to take the hero with this change.
I didn't look through all the developer notes. Did they make that statement about Nova for the reason, or is that just speculation at this point?
Yeah, it was
I
just
think it's just
Okay.
speculation.
I mean, it kind of points in that direction, but maybe they have some other motives for making those changes to Nova. We'll see.
I don't know. We've always seen like them do nerfs like this. Like, there was a time long ago where Lily got like randomly nerfed into the ground,
Yeah.
and then she got like a slight rework with like talents and stuff. So like maybe they have like they overhauled a lot of her talents, but maybe they're going to be doing stuff to the kit soon as well. Whenever they get the animations in the game, I don't know. Maybe it's preparing for. Hopefully, it's preparing for something else because the Nova nerfs just don't make sense, like to that extreme. Like they just overkilled her. So hopefully, maybe different style of play is coming from her soon. I don't know. But Zeratul's like not going to be changed at all. Like he'll still take the same talents that we already see, except sometimes he'll Shadow Assault.
Well, if we do end up seeing,
I feel like a cleave build might be viable.
With
In
With, like, Reddit
Korea,
stuff?
I
With
still
Reddit
can't figure out why, but we actually do see some weird cleave build where they go cleave 1 and 7, and then like sometimes 16 and sometimes they double bump.
Huh.
And they go like sustained anomaly or gathering. I'm really not sure why they do it, but we've seen it. So that's better now.
Interesting. Well, Zeratul, if we do end up seeing Shadow Assault, there's a good chance we'll see him paired with Abathur. Abathur just got buffed in terms of symbiote style. They gave Spike and Stab additional damage. Do you guys think this was a necessary improvement because of how uncommon it was to see symbiote builds? I mean, we were seeing a lot of Toxic Nest builds, but symbiote style
So,
is this like an
Is the change to monstrosity only on PTR, or is that the live patch today?
I'm
Which one?
reading the PTR patch
Um,
notes and it's not on there.
Let me look.
So it's on the live.
Isn't the monstrosity just quality of life? Isn't it just
Yeah,
press
it's the
R to
quality of life
symbiote?
change. Yeah, you,
Right,
because-
okay.
Yeah.
I'm
that's- that's just
guessing
the
it's probably in the patch, it's just not documented. In that case.
What is
Okay.
the monstrosity change? I'm not even.
You just hit R and it automatically will like symbiote on the monstrosity, and it,
Oh,
like,
that's
brings-
kind of cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just like a nice quality of life change. I think the changes that Abathur might have been needed.
You
But,
think this
yeah,
is kind of like a overall buff to melee assassins?
No, I don't think so. I think that's just
Sonya.
or maybe Sonya too, but I think it mainly is going to impact Zeratul a lot.
What about someone like Greymane?
No, not really, I don't think.
Okay.
One person I do think it works really well with is Illidan.
Yeah, if Illidan.
If
comes
Illidan
back.
was viable,
There's
yeah.
too many stuns. though.
Illidan, Rehgar, Abathur.
I don't know, man. I feel
True.
like Illidan's gonna come back.
It's
Yeah, if-
possible.
If
Because,
Muradin, like Muradin,
well,
we'll get
what
there,
was-
but go ahead.
we're seeing a lot of mouth in Europe, and we're seeing a lot of stitches, and those heroes get pretty, like, they're pretty bad into Illidan. And coupled with the Abathur changes, and coupled with cleanse changes, and coupled with the Rehgar buffs, I feel like Illidan's pretty good. Like, you build the right kind of composition, you play it into, like, a team composition that doesn't do well into Illidan, I feel like he's actually going to wreck people.
Apparently, that symbiote change was made in the game 2 patches ago. Just they updated the tooltip today. Like any of us have ever fucking played monstrosity. Like,
Nope.
see a lot of like face bombs and stuff. Like we don't know who plays monstrosity, man.
Yeah, I do not play monstrosity ever. I have not grabbed that in months. Okay, down to Gazlowe. Gazlowe, they made a few changes.
I saw like some Reddit threads talking about like the potential for
Turrets.
turrets and stuff, but like that's not any different now, right? Like they made it so that you get more time back, but like the amount of turrets that you would theoretically be able to put down really isn't any different, right?
No, it's definitely
As long
higher.
as you're auto
It's
attacking
qu-
something.
it's
So I'm
quite
not
a
really
lot
sure.
higher, I feel like
It's what?
it's quite a lot higher. I feel like.
Yeah, it's 50% higher. You can put down 50% more turrets in theory.
No. It determines how long the turrets stay up for when you're auto attacking. Yes, did I read that
But
wrong?
there's no max number of turrets.
Yeah. So
I think
What
it's
I'm
just more sustainable
but-
in general.
unless it has something to do with like the cast animation of putting down a turret plus an auto attack doesn't allow you to like infinitely put down turrets. I don't know. I really don't play much Gazlowe to be honest. And like that extra half second is what allows you to continue to put more turrets down. If that's the case, fine, I understand. But otherwise,
Yeah, well, like you're gonna run out of like minions eventually, right? You're gonna kill the wall. The minion wave's not
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
there.
That's fine.
So like it's just making up that time. I think it's a pretty nice change, but I mean,
Yeah.
the real issue with Gazlowe, by the way, is that they actually nerfed him in the scaling changes pretty hard because his turrets just get like one shot by everything,
Yeah.
and they still haven't fixed it. Even though they're doing these changes, I'm really not sure why.
He does have some nice looking icons now, though.
That's
Look at those icons.
The icons are great.
Look at this. His trait. That's cool.
Was that Lily change not real?
what the
I'm not seeing it in on either of the patch notes. There was
Really?
something about like you can. There's no limit to how many. Like it was a town or something that it doesn't limit you to how many dragon serpents you can put on the target. I saw it on the Heroes Nexus ones, but I don't see it on either of the patch
Oh, like
notes.
you could put like 3 serpents on one.
And I was just
target?
curious if anyone had like done the Kung Fu Hustle and tried to see how many serpents they could get on a target, but I'm not seeing it in either of the patch notes. It was on the Heroes Nexus one, so I guess maybe that wasn't real. Someone in chat can confirm if that's in game or not.
All right, we're down to the supports. Bakery, the time is now. Malfurion.
Oh yeah.
We got some updates on Malfurion's Innervate increased, the mana returned. Just nice quality of life. Not
Yeah,
really
and you
gonna-
should, Bakery, talk about like the last patch as well.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was last week because we haven't heard.
Wait,
your thoughts
wait.
yet.
I need to find the dates for last week. Give me a
Well,
sec.
they buffed regrowth at base and they nerfed tranquility.
That's the
Yeah,
gist
yeah.
of it.
That's kind of
they increased like the healing of regrowth and tranquility. So the active healing component was still buffed, even in tranquility, if you know what I mean. So I think they increased it by 9 and then decreased tranquility by 6. So you still get 3 heal per seconds more when you're actively healing someone.
True.
So those changes are actually really, really nice because, like, the way that it synergizes with his level 4 and 7 talents as well, basically create a situation where he's gone from never being picked purely because he gets out-sustain healed by pretty much everyone.
Mhm.
Like, Monk did more, Alice did more, even Rehgar did more in some situations. And those buffs made it so that when you want to go for a sustain composition and you want to stall, you can now pick Malfurion. He now has a place. And that was really nice. And obviously they buffed the sort of burst healing, which made him just better in this meta. So the mouth changes, he's actually picked when... Like, he's just actually picked now. Great changes. Good job, Blizzard.
really. I don't think Malfurion will ever be a top tier pick while Falstad's still in the meta. I think Gus just shits all over him.
Oh, there's still
I don't know.
warrant for banning false.
But if the heal is that big of a difference, because I haven't played with a mouth since the changes, so I don't know
Dude,
how
regrowth
impactful
is
it is.
strong.
If it's
now.
actually that big of a
Yeah.
deal, then yeah, he could see play.
It
Well, I
heals
think
like
Good Falstad just
3/5
really
of a tank's HP.
okay.
If
That's
a
actually a
carrier's
lot.
on like 100 HP and you queue them with all the talents, it heals them all the way to full. And then once you get hardened and once you get life seed, he's like a beast. So he just actually has a place now. That's all the changes are. Like
Okay.
he's still not going to be picked against the burst heavy like team, and he is still countered, but he's picked when he's good.
He's always been really good with Stitches as well, just because Stitches' big health pool and just hook and roots has always been a classic combo. So with Stitches coming back in the meta, that's also really good for Malf. But all right, the next hero, Rehgar, getting some big changes. Some big changes, and Jake is very happy. Forward momentum gone, spell shield gone, healing totem moved from 1 to 4, and they reduced the cooldown down to 30 seconds. He lost, he dismounts from healing from any generic abilities like cleanse, blood for blood, but not Farsight. It's the only one that doesn't dismount him apparently.
That's actually a reverb, by the way. Like back in beta, like last January, they added so that he could use cleanse while in war form and like
which is a big
blood
deal.
while in war form. And then they removed that here, which was interesting.
Yeah, but he can still cast Farsight. Interesting. But one of the biggest changes here for Rehgar in general is just the fact that Feral Lunge is now base. It used to be a level 13 talent. It is now base on Rehgar. When he attacks in his wolf form, it is 100% damage. So it's a crit and it's a lunge forward at the enemy. How big of a buff is this for him, Bakes?
That's huge. Like, you don't even have to ask that. It's so big. It makes him a better laner, gives him more survivability, gives him burst that he'll get kills. Like,
You can
Feral
juke
Lunge
with
was
it.
always a good talent. Like, yeah, you can kite with it if there's minions behind you. You can, like, reposition yourself to get closer to someone, to get closer enough for Ancestral to hit, because that's a really short range. Like, that is so huge. That is such an insane change. It's
pretty
crazy,
good.
like, how... I wonder how much Blizzard, like, watches the Asian region when it comes to, like, when they're, like, balanced stuff, because...
They were
Rehgar
already picking
was
Rehgar, yeah. That
the
was my
most
first
picked
thought.
support in Gold League. The most picked support, hands down. Like, more than Uther, more than anyone. And, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with. I think Karazim kind of fits that role a little bit better in some situations. But either way, like, he was already seeing a lot of play. And these, like, the buffs, not just the Feral Lunge buff, but all the buffs, Like even if you just go standard chain heal build, that's still really really good. And then the new W build, like what? This hero got insane.
His 13 tier is like so stacked. I feel like every single talent on that tier is good.
I was curious why they moved the cooldown reduction from 16 to 13. They didn't add anything else to 16, right?
I don't
It
think
was
so.
just they just moved that talent to 13 and removed
Just
the old
light-
chain heal
lightning
talent.
shield, but nothing healing wise.
So I was a bit
the
curious
Rising
about that,
Storm at 16 now, so he's got Hunger
Oh,
of the
yeah,
Wolf.
yeah.
Ghost Wolf does extra damage and a heal. Wait, Ghost Wolf attacks do extra damage and heal you. Okay. And Earthcraft's got a big buff, and then Rising Storm.
He's insane. Like watching him just chain healing you. Like you can notice the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it is a huge heal. And I mean Rory was already talking about the lightning shield chain, like the lightning shield build. Like he's insane. He's insane.
So let's just talk about some of the wolf talents. Now, I don't know if they'll ever make a wolf build that's viable just because you only get one auto attack out of wolf form, but it's still kind of neat that they're just giving like a lot of cool new options to Rehgar in general as a hero. Wolf run up to 40% movement speed while in wolf form. That's kind of cool. Blood and Thunder Ghost Wolf. That's 2 seconds. It's kind of like battle momentum, but only from your wolf form, but still that's more impactful than you'd think. And then Hunger of the Wolf, it's like got a giant killer aspect to it, but it also does lifesteal. So suddenly,
what about that
those
other
bites-
talent though?
Huh?
What about that other talent at level 10?
Oh, Bloodlust? yeah. You pair Bloodlust with this stuff, and it's gonna be real nice. We're getting there,
No.
QB.
No, Jake. You don't pair Bloodlust with those talents.
There you go, Hamgar.
You go a normal
to go chain
support
light-
build,
you have to go chain
and then
lightning build.
you go Bloodlust. Don't be silly.
I think there's merit
And
for
Ancestral did get nerfed there, so
10
Yeah.
seconds.
I was gonna.
I
One of
think
my
Bloodlust
arguments
is probably the
was.
better ultimate after that. So really big change.
Wow, really? You think Bloodlust is the better heroic?
Nah.
God damn it!
Yeah, one of my arguments was that it seems like Blizzard's wanting to nerf heroics on supports and buff their core kit, but I didn't realize that Malfurion Tranquility actually got a buff, so that argument's kind of over now.
Well, I definitely do think there is a place for Bloodlust now, though.
Yeah, if you have a pseudo support, I tweeted it out the other day. I feel like there's a legit. If you have like a Tass or Tyrande with you, you do not necessarily with the changes to chain heal. You do not necessarily need Ancestral. You have enough support on your own to go Bloodlust.
I'm not even sure if that's the case because we're seeing stuff like Tyrande and stuff like Tassadar. They don't have healing ultimates. Like they don't have the divine. They don't have ancestral. They don't have palm. Like, but they're still
Route Shadowstalk doesn't
adequately
heal.
healing. Well, not really. It's not like a.
Yeah, it doesn't heal at
It's
all.
not like the other three.
Well, yeah, of course it's not as big, but it's still, a
But
healing
yeah,
roll.
like so I don't think the. I don't know. As long as he provides enough in his base kit, like with the, like chain lightning, maybe the radius is really good or something. Then I think you don't need to justify taking ancestral every game if you're the soul healer.
Yeah, I think Ancestral will still be the pickup. Like my tweet was not meaning that we're going to see Bloodlust every single game,
Oh, definitely
but
not.
I think
It's good to
there
have
is a
diversity, though.
chance.
Yeah.
I think there's
that's-
a chance we see Bloodlust every once in a while. Like it's not, and like literally the chain heal buff alone is absurd. Like
Yeah.
his healing is through the roof now.
I mean, the primary target now gets 372, almost an additional 100 healing at base, which is, like you said, it is a huge buff for Rehgar. Chain heal, multiple target heal, but the primary target going to get a fat heal. Remove some talents, mana cost down, and then we have a few other new talents changed, redesigned. The cooldown reduction here at Tidal Waves. What do you think about this, Bakery?
So it's basically just a quality of life change and then buff because it's moved from 16 to 13. It was really annoying when it would bug and you'd actually heal 3 targets and then it wouldn't give you any cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
I have no idea why that happened. Or you'd only heal 2 and you got no cooldown reduction. But obviously now it scales sort of with every hero that you hit and its max is still the same. It's just the quality of life buff. And obviously since it's 13, it's a really stacked tier though. It's got Earth Shield on it, the new Earth Shield, which is amazing. and it's also got the healing over
Yeah.
time one to contest with. But no, I don't know. I think it's a really nice change to the talent. It
I
less
agree.
awkward.
I don't. I got. It's sad because it was moved to 13. Because like you said, that tier is stacked. So I don't know what people are going to prefer to run because that is a great change, and I always like the talent. Like it's what made like Rehgar be able to deal with like chain bomb a bit better. Is just being able to spam the chain heals and stuff. So now it's like actually contested. We'll see, but it's a really good quality of life change. I agree 100% with Bakery.
About that 13 talent tier, just quickly, I think that actually is a rare example of a talent tier where we're going to see a different one depending on the game. Like, I feel like Earthshow is really amazing, but so is Tidal Waves, and so is the
Earth Living
super
Chat.
sustainy one. Yeah.
Earth Living Chat. Yeah, this is really cool. This gets, I mean, it's always been level 13 is when Rehgar and a lot of supports like Tyrande get like kind of a big buff in their sustain. But you're right. This is kind of a good way to do it. Focus all these big sustained talents into one tier and make them choose their style, because 15% of their max health versus the base rate of Earth Shield used to get like hardly any shielding, right? It was negligible. But 15% on a warrior that is going to be diving deep and it's going to get a lot of benefit from that before the fight even begins, that could be really good. But you might have a composition where that's actually trash and you don't want to go for that so much and you'd rather have Earth Living enchant. Pretty cool. So I don't make that face.
Now, Jake.
Now, Jake.
Because if we see Bloodlust picked, this doesn't give you the right by any means to say that you told us so, you saw this coming.
I knew it. I knew
We
it.
did this with Brightwing a long time ago when Emerald Wind became popular.
That was a much smaller window. That was like, I said it was going to be good like 2 weeks before it
and
happened.
then a patch came out that made it viable, and you're like, I knew it. I knew it.
This is going to be the same thing. It's going to happen in the cast. Be like, told you guys. I told you Bloodlust. And we're going to be like, okay, well, there's a whole lot of other factors going into it, buddy. No, I told you.
The Brightwing situation was not even close to this.
One
you guys
day,
are just
Jake.
jelly. You see how salty they are because of how right I was about Brightwing?
There was legit
Shit.
like for like go back in TownHall history. There was like legitimately like when Jake wasn't playing the game that much, when a new hero would get released, he would literally take a coin, flip it, and depending on which side it landed on, which would be the default heroic would be good. So like when Shen came out, he was just like, you know what, I don't know the game well enough to actually judge from looking at it. Flip a coin. Oh look, Panda Pals is actually going to be good. He would say it on TownHall. I think Panda Pals is going to be the go-to heroic, and then when it happened, he'd be like, Jake dance, Jake dance.
All right.
Sad times.
Earth Grasp got a nice buff to it. The area of effect radius has been increased by 16%. Mana cost down. Some cool new talents. You can now reposition the totem with one of the talents for the same duration. It doesn't redo the duration, but it's still really good to be able to reposition it. But Earth Grasp, 90% slow still, but it lasts for 1.5 seconds, and that is a huge buff to it.
Have you seen the bug with the giant totem?
No.
Dude, it's like massive. It's like it takes up literally the entire screen. Someone in chat's got to have like an image or something. Like ask for permission to link it, or like tweet it at me, and I'll get it shown. But it's literally like there's a bug with the totem. I don't know how it happens, but it's just huge. It takes up literally the entire screen. So someone in chat will have the link. It's hilarious though. Oh yeah, I think the totem build's fun. It's fun. Like I saw someone play it yesterday on the PTR. And there was a time a long time ago when the root it wasn't a slow at 16, it was a root, and that was the go-to Rehgar build. And it's still just the slow, but it's cool to see that kind of style come back in where you use the totem to catch people.
Block me, okay, I have to get away. I hope we get to level 16. I'll level 20.
Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. So it's like really high up in the sky, and it's just like.
Oh, I never saw a video. I just saw a screenshot of it.
It's like
I was
it's just right in front of the camera. Jake, do you remember the other day I was telling you that the Immortal, the Punisher, like went like really high up, and like depending on where I moved the camera, it would like cover the entire screen. I think it's like something similar. That's funny.
That is funny. Thanks for the link, Snitch. Gosh, he's so quick.
I
Snitch
never
is
saw the
just, like,
video.
in
Man. It
there.
was like, just floating in the sky. I just saw a screenshot of it. I was just like, whoa, that is one big totem. That's hilarious, though.
Oh,
That's what she
man,
said.
too good. All right, well, and then Bloodlust. This is actually pretty cool. It's not till level 20, but every target affected by Bloodlust gets 30% self-heal from their basic attack damage. Kind of cool. I mean, Bloodlust is designed to benefit auto-attack heroes. At level 20, this could be really strong for some heroes. Not quite as flexible as just getting Storm Shield, but who knows? It's still a cool redesign. It's way better than the global Bloodlust that nobody used. Ever. Next on the list, Tyrande gets a much-needed nerf.
Whoa!
She's
whoa!
now-
Whoa! Are we just skipping over the glory that is his lightning shield changes?
We talked about some of them.
Pathan, go
Rory,
ahead.
go ham. You haven't
We
said
didn't
much in a
talk.
bit.
Yo, we didn't talk about how Rehgar is the biggest buff to Illidan since unstoppable on all of his abilities back in the BS days. Are you guys ready for the return of our Illidan overlords? Because
You think so?
I don't know if you guys have messed around with the lightning shield talent on 16,
Which one?
but
is...
that
See,
Oh,
the
I haven't.
wording was a bit weird.
So the lightning shield talent on 16, it basically very quickly stacks up to where lightning shield is doing triple damage to heroes. And you
Holy
combine
crap.
that with the level 1 and the level 4 talents and Zoya's love of my eyebrows, and you'd start doing insane damage if you're on any hero that can stick onto targets.
Whoa.
And let's look at this patch. What else has been buffed? It's been Zeratul and Illidan. You have Zeratul with Shadow Assault, easily sticks on anybody. You have Illidan, who's naturally sticky. The shield stacks up to the point where it's just doing hundreds and hundreds per tick on everything in a giant AoE around it, as long as you can stay close. And I think Rehgar just naturally synergizes with Illidan in that
He
the
always
fact that he has, yeah, he's got the Ancestral, which has always been a staple combo with Illidan.
Yeah.
But now he has Feral Lunge base, so he can chase and dive with the Illidan, and that Lightning Shield is just insane DPS as long as you can stay close to the target. And it doesn't even have to be the same target, just any target.
Dude.
Man, you really are on a team with Glaurung now, aren't you?
Oh,
Talking
my
about
God.
Illidan.
Varung hasn't even drank my Kool-Aid yet.
Yeah.
Like, this is all me. I just see this. I
Rehgar-
see this W changes, and I'm like, oh my god, Shadow Assault, Zeratul, and Illidan is going to be a real thing because of these Rehgar buffs.
Like, there's some other
So-
cool things that are interesting, not even only just stick, but you think of Frozen Tempest and Arthas, like Wriggly Bruce just pointed out. Even twisting Nether on Cho'Gall could get really scary because of the amount of AoE that provides. And Cho'Gall is a big body with 33% additional range around it. Who knows? Because how long does twisting Nether stay active? Is it like 8 seconds? I'm just pointing out random
No,
things.
I'm laughing at chat, man. I wasn't laughing at you. The moment you started talking about Twisting Nether, I zoned out. So I was laughing at chat.
Wow. I don't know. That's pretty cool.
I agree.
All right, beware the return. Be prepared.
I get it. I see what you're doing.
Uther got crushingly nerfed as well.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think people. I mean, it's not actually a crushing nerf, but I don't think people knew much about that mechanic.
I mean, I'm actually one of the few Uther players that uses his E just randomly when
Yeah.
I'm like pushing and stuff. So I always use it if I'm in a lane. I always stun the melee creep because you can W auto attack stun and then you get a free globe and then you can immediately walk back. But no, I mean nobody ever used it on structures, so not sure why did they even
Crippling.
bother taking it out.
Wait, you don't know? Like, there was a bug that you could stun the auto attacks from the tower.
Wait,
That's why they did it.
no
Are you
way.
serious?
That's
It
part
was-
of the reason why they changed the
I had no
tooltip
idea
to
that was
say,
a thing.
No way.
like, structures are now invulnerable. They can't be CC'd anymore.
Wow.
Jared with the epic troll.
No, I'm being serious.
No way.
It was a bug.
No.
Dude, I've seen Dread do it like 20 times.
Last but not least, Sonya lost a lot of damage.
Dude, how do people, like, know I'm lying so easily? like chat and like immediately people were just like, no.
You got Jake though, so that's one.
I got Jake. Like, oh, shit.
I'm already on tilt. Sonya
Yeah, I
got
don't get the
nerfed.
change either, Bakery was the point. I don't get the change either.
How much does this nerf Sonya?
That's, with the focus attack, that's pretty big, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's dead.
I don't think she's
She's
dead.
dead.
Kind of
She's
moves
dead.
to that like weird. She's
I
like
don't,
slightly
I don't
below
think
that
she's
fifth hero
first
pick.
rotation. And I still think she has a place because the thing is, Sonya like is not. So the reason I think they made this change is because she gets onto a carry with a lucky Q or something, or she stands in a brush and she just like 2 shots to carry, and it's just really boring from both sides. Whereas like nerfing her damage a bit, she still has high damage. Like slam, if she can stick on someone, she still is going to wreck them. It's just gonna take a bit longer, and it's just less punishing. Like I feel like if we just see a nerf to her sustained damage, maybe like an auto attacking piece, like later in a later patch, then she'll be back to where she was. But I still feel like she's going to be picked, just not first rotation.
If we do
She'll be
see
picked
more
after the
Illidan,
second bounce.
I
I think
don't know.
Illidan would be taken instead.
No, Illidan will be a niche pick. If anything, Zeratul and Sonya are going to swap priorities compared to how they are now.
I could see that too.
Yeah, I think Sonya will be still like it's hit harder a little bit than Bakery's saying. I think you'll see her once every 5 to 10 games, like you see Zeratul. I think like Roy just put it best. Like they're just gonna swap positions. So it's pretty big nerf. Another situation where they like double nerf a hero, and it's interesting. They've I don't know. I thought Sonya was in a good spot, to be honest. I don't think
agreed.
she was
I thought she
like.
was too.
It just blows my mind. We're seeing all these changes. I'm sorry to go on a little rant real quick, but literally like Falstad with these weird like changes to Hinterland's Blast. You got the Nova nerfs. You
That's
got
the
this
next
nerf for
patch,
Sonya.
Sonya. Don't
Where's
spoil it.
Kael'thas? Like Kael'thas is so
Yeah.
absurdly strong, and
We've-
we're getting these nerfs to heroes that are okay. I don't get it, man.
They have
I
to be
think
preparing
Kael'thas
an
is
overhaul.
fine, dude.
No,
He's
they
only
have.
got 52% win rate.
They've got to be preparing an overhaul for the hero. They have to be.
I think they came up with this focused attacks nerf like a month and a half ago before they came out with the other nerfs to Sonya and Raynor or something. And they're just like, whatever, let's go with it. Because it is not needed. Like, it doesn't really... I don't know. I don't think you need that for either of those heroes. They've already been nerfed in other ways. And no other heroes besides those two really get a ton of benefit from focused attacks. Seems like something that was just thrown together a long time ago, and they're still going forward with it. It seems like a mistake to me.
All right, we're going to quickly move over to the actual live patch. We're going to go pretty quick through this because we're really late into this episode already. Hinterland's Blast. I don't understand this change.
Well, on the bright side, it now does more damage than Flame Strike. So...
Yay.
You're getting somewhere.
Why did they increase the cooldown?
It makes no
Why?
sense, dude. I
The
thought it was-
damage
I thought it
buff,
was
even if
op-
they just buffed the damage and left the cooldown exactly where it was, that would have been, everyone would have been like, okay, cool, nice change.
Well,
What?
No.
A 2-minute cooldown?
okay,
What?
I agree with the 2-minute cooldown, actually.
You are
Because
high off your rocker,
what I
Bakery.
don't agree with is that its damage is still fairly low. I would like to see this damage go, like, off the chart. But, like, give it 120 sec cooldown.
Yeah.
That's what I would
All
have
right.
liked to
Yeah,
see.
make it
If
do
the
double
damage
that
makes
damage.
sense. Yeah.
Like,
If you
damage
increase, if you're increasing the cooldown on 33% on an ult that nobody uses, you should increase the damage by at least 33%.
I thought this was a typo.
Not like 3% or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like it's so bad. This change makes no sense on any level.
It is just a straight up nerf. But the idea, I think, is fine. The execution is question mark.
2 minutes is so long.
But
for
guys, we're looking
That's
for opportunities to increase the impact on some heroic abilities. This is really gonna increase the impact on Hinterland's Blast, right? Weird. Greymane, we're not going to read through all of them. The one big one to note, I guess, or two, is they removed a second from the disengage cooldown. We talked about how that's a very long cooldown. This could help him a lot more than you'd think. I still think it should be down to 4 or something. And in Unfettered Assault, yeah, this one right here. Didn't they move it up from 33% cast range to 60% cast range, and now it no longer has an increased cooldown?
It was always 60%, and they increased the cooldown by 33.
Oh, okay. So, nice change.
They also decreased the cooldown on his Q by 1 second, which I think is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Just quickly about Greymane, I actually think he's a really strong hero, to be honest. I feel like when you see someone use him properly, he actually wrecks in the right situation.
Yeah, I hope we see him play it. I hope these changes make him more viable because the game needs more diversity in assassins, that's for sure.
He is. All of his changes are pretty insignificant, except for the 1 second off of Q. Yeah. That is his one and only good build. And taking 1 second off your the primary use of the hero is huge. And I think this really pushes him over to the point where he could be picked after the patch.
You think that's even more impactful than the second off disengage? Like just that's
way more impactful.
Oh, okay.
Right, it's the same cooldown as multi-shot now, and it does more damage, especially once you hit 16.
Oh, that's cool.
His Q is why you would play the hero. Yeah, just a second off makes a huge impact. All the other stuff, like the disengage, it's nice. The health buff is pretty insignificant and nice, but yeah, it's going to be the Q build, and the buffs to the Q build are why he will be picked in the future if he's picked at all.
Cool. Syndragosa change, stage dive change, BFG change. I don't think any of those will really affect much, but Fallen Sword change.
Don't.
Kind of. No. It's just the fact that it's no longer slowed and that it's a reduced cooldown. It's definitely a big buff to it, but does the pop up actually stun?
Yeah.
It does. So.
Well, it's a knock up.
Yeah, it's like a micro stun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really like this though. I would like this ult to be good. I really want that ult to
This is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, make a few more steps.
Oh
yeah,
so
I agree.
They got to make quite a few more bounds there because that's Blast Shield's just too good.
What is the cap on the cooldown reduction at the 20?
It gets it to about.
Is it 20?
Wait.
There's a cap on it, and it doesn't list it in the tooltip for some reason. I'm gonna just go into Tribal and check it right now.
Get 14. I think.
Because there's either a maximum number of targets that you can hit with the shields or the swords, or they just flat put a cap on the amount of CC or cooldown reduction. I'll try it out right now.
But yeah, it's hard engage, and I think this game needs more hard engage. Hard engage is always exciting, but Judgment sucks.
If her
Putting
Condemn worked like her old Condemn, then maybe hard engage and Joanna would be a thing. But with Condemn operating how it does now,
yeah.
No. If it was old Condemn, I'd be all aboard that. Yeah, hard engage Joanna would be a thing. But what happens when Joanna hard engages with Fallen Sword?
What if they had a?
She blinds everybody.
That'd be interesting. Some kind of added effect, more like a slow or
something. Yeah.
That goes with it.
I do agree that there needs to be more hard engage. But
her pre-release, I think Curse had an ability preview, and it showed Falling Sword, and Falling Sword was literally a knock-up, and they're 2 second stun. And it didn't have the movement speed slow on when she was airborne. It was crazy. Everyone thought that ult would be game-breaking. And then when it released, it was so pathetic.
Yeah. And the fact that you can't activate it early, right? It has to go the full 2 seconds. I haven't used it in months. You have to wait the full 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
If you grab the 20 upgrade, you can bring the cooldown to 33 seconds.
I think they're going the wrong direction with that ult. Like we were talking about earlier, where they were saying they wanted to make ults on a longer cooldown and be more impactful. What they're doing here is making an ignorable, unimpactful ult on a lower cooldown. They need to make it better, way better, and up the cooldown instead. It needs to make her way faster when in the air, or have a long stun when she comes down, and then bump up the cooldown to 100 seconds instead of 60. That's way better than just making a ignorable ult that doesn't really do anything spammable.
It's more exciting to watch too.
People are asking in chat what old Condemn was like. It would legit just pull you into Joanna. Like it was an actual disruption, where now the new condemn just kind of like a
It kind
Oh,
of trips
buddy.
you up a little bit, the current condemn,
Yeah.
but the old condemn would pull you all the way in. Like it was.
They kept like flip flopping between the functionality there. Like
Yeah.
it did do it on release, and then the patch after it didn't. The patch after that did, and the patch after that it didn't.
Tinfoil
Like,
hat time. They did keep flip-flopping it, but it was always on the opposite spectrum of the Dragon Knight explosion changes. And so I
Actually
I
was,
swear
yeah.
that those two are tied together. Like every time the condemn was broken, they fixed the Dragon Knight explosion, and then they just kept swapping it back and forth. So I think they just never got it right, and we're just like, we'll just leave condemn slightly nerfed.
Wow.
That's it. That's my tinfoil hat moment. I'm convinced.
Okay, cool. We're running out of time, so we need to-
Avatar.
that is the biggest change in this patch.
I raged
That
so
is-
hard about that.
That is the biggest change out of all the patch notes we've read so far. I don't care how good League Me is going to be, all right?
League me.
Li-Ming.
I don't care how good she's going to be. This is the biggest change in the patch.
No more micro
Avatar just feels dumb now.
Yeah.
It's
what
a
like
silly ult. It is a silly ult.
he's just tanker, but he does nothing when he's on you now. He's got his one stun and he's like body blocking. It's such a big nerf, man. I don't care that they buffed the health on it.
I don't either. He's gonna be dumb.
I
shit
mean-
I
here.
think he'll still see play.
Unplayable.
No, he'll still see play. His kit in rotations is good enough that he'll see play. Like he's still a fantastic ganker. But
Haymaker still not worth getting. Avatar the better option, or would
I don't.
The
I mean,
issue
probably.
is Haymaker is so at odds with his kit. The entire kit of
Yeah.
Muradin is just like sit in the middle of their team, like run at them face first, like slow them all, like stuff like that. And then like Haymaker requires him to flank around and try and get onto the back line and then knock them back into your team. Like it's completely at odds with the rest of his kit. Having said that, I do think it's actually a really good ability. It's a lot of damage and the knockback
It is a lot of damage, and if you get good with it, it can really mess up a team. I don't know. I if this was like Blizzard's like step one to responding to the stun meta, they targeted the wrong thing.
Yep.
They
Oh.
said in the footnotes that it was like unfun to play against. I hope that's why they were doing it. I guess
It
Like, if
definitely
that's-
was.
yeah? It's
But
like,
I
it's-
hope that's not them being like the stun meta is a problem. Let's remove stuns from Avatar because that has nothing to do with why the stun meta is out of control.
A
That just might
change
be
that I
right.
would have liked to see, by the way, is I would like to see make it every second hit against the same target. So he hits them
I saw
once, like a storm bolt comes up over the head,
Ah.
like a storm marker, and then hits them a second time and they get mini stunned.
He's got a talent, Stonebreaker, right? What's
Yeah,
called?
but
That-
it's basically
every
Skull
three
Skull
Cracker.
Basher.
Skull Cracker.
Skull Basher. Yeah, it's
Skull
every
cracker.
Yeah.
Skull
Wow.
Cracker. Every three
So
auto
close.
attacks, but I agree. Like making it every 2 auto attacks maybe, but because without it, even with the health buff, like you see Cloud9 and teams consistently first pick him. Not anymore. He'll still probably see play, but
He was
Oh,
clearly
oh,
the
no.
best tank in most situations,
Yes.
but I think they could have left like a slow or something on those attacks at least.
There's
Yeah,
still going to be
some-
merit to pick him for things like reverberation, though, in certain situations.
no,
right?
he's still gonna see play.
Yeah.
100%. He's just not
Like-
near as good anymore.
I just don't think you pick him for the sake of picking him.
He's
Like,
not
yeah.
just he's not a first
picked
pick
first
like
or second rotation every single game, even when it's not a good situation for him. He's just that good.
Yeah.
And this change is going to take that down, which is good. But I think it's the wrong area that they're targeting.
Remember when Muradin was the worst hero in the game?
God, I remember we were flying
never
to
was,
so
dude.
we were going to BlizzCon 2 years ago. Kubi and I were driving to the airport. We were attending BlizzCon to watch the first like the Invitational, and we're sitting in the car theory crafting like how do they make Muradin viable? How do and Kubi's just like it can't be done. It's just too bad.
awful. He's got a bad cancer. I forget what I'm doing.
Oh,
times.
how times change. All right, well, that's the patch notes discussion. We're actually going to take a very short commercial break, and then we're going to come back and we're
And
going
do
to
shout outs?
we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the spring champs really quickly.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
we might go a little bit over time, like 5-10 minutes or something, but not a big deal. We'll be back in just a few moments, guys. Stay tuned.